All right, so we have another book by Patricia Polacco, and it's called Rechenka's Eggs. One of my favorite books. So she's from Michigan, and I'm from Michigan too. Another reason that I really love her. All right, so this is about her grandmother again, named Babushka. Babushka lived alone in a dacha, a little house in the country, but she was known far and wide for the fine eggs that she lovingly painted. Her eggs were so beautiful that she always won first prize at the Easter Festival in Moscow. Each day, Babushka would take the shell of an egg from her basket and paint it in wonderful designs, using the shapes of stars and flowers, triangles and circles. Through the long, cold winter, Babushka painted. Then one day, after a snowstorm, Babushka went outside. She could still hear the faint sound of falling snow. It was a sound like soft rain. Herds of caribou came to feed at Babushka's because the grasses they usually ate were covered with snow. "A miracle," she whispered as she fed some. "These wild things have found their way to me." Just then, a flock of noisy geese honked loudly overhead. As they glided over the snow, one of them faltered and fell from the sky. Babushka went to where the goose lay, crumpled on the snow. "A hunter," Babushka grumbled. She carefully picked up the goose and took it back to her little house. There she fed the little goose from her own table and put the goose in her best basket, lined with the warmest quilt from her own bed. "I shall name you a good name, one that we both can like, eh, my little friend?" she said as she patted the goose's head. "How do you like Rechenka?" "Yes, then Rechenka it shall be." With Babushka's care, Rechenka grew stronger as each day passed. To repay her kindness, Rechenka laid an egg for breakfast every morning. As Rechenka grew better, she waddled around the little house, exploring every nook, cupboard, and corner. One day, she jumped on top of Babushka's work table, overturning the jars of bright-colored paint that she used to color the eggs. "Niet!" Babushka screamed as she chased the goose with a broom. "No!" The frightened goose flapped her wings to get away and knocked over the basket of eggs that Babushka had so lovingly painted. The eggs crashed onto the floor and shattered into millions of pieces. They were both very sad. There was no reason now for Babushka to go to the festival. Aww. The next morning, Babushka slowly got out of bed and trundled over to Rechenka's basket to get her morning egg. But when she reached into the middle of the quilt, she picked out the most brilliantly colored egg she had ever seen. "A miracle," Babushka whispered. "A miracle." She made small holes at both ends of the egg and blew the yolk and white into a dish to cook and eat later for breakfast. Then she held the egg up to the morning light and marveled at its beauty. After that, every morning for 12 mornings there was another egg, each more beautiful than the one laid the day before. Soon Babushka had enough eggs to take to the festival in Moscow. How wonderful, she thought. A miracle has replaced the eggs that were broken. "Spring is here, my little friend," Babushka said to Rechenka the morning of the festival. "Soon now you will be flying off to the north with your flock." She bustled to the hearth fire and brewed some of her most favored tea. The two shared a saucer of tea with kulik, a sweet Easter bread. She covered each piece with pashka, a spread of cheese, butter, and raisins. They savored each bite together. "One for you and one for me," Babushka chanted. "Da-da-da, my little friend. I shall sorely miss you, but you are a wild thing, and a miracle sent you to me. It would not be right to ask you to stay with me here forever." When Babushka left her little house, she took one last look at Rechenka sitting on the doorstep. She waved and then took determined steps for Moscow with the basket of precious eggs. She crossed Lebetov Valley where the caribou mothers were walking their newborn calves. A miracle, she thought. New little lives, a miracle. She crossed the bridge over the Moskva River and soon she could see the onion domes of old Moskva. So you can see this kind of architecture that you see in Moscow. Beautiful. St. Basil's Cathedral looks like this. The festival was bright and exciting. There were goat carts selling kulich, processions, dancers, jugglers, and laughing children playing and running. Babushka showed her old friends the eggs. Her eggs are the most beautiful in all of Russia, they thought. "Look at them," the elder said. "They almost glow, as if the paint is part of the shell itself. The judges picked Babushka's eggs as the most beautiful. Babushka was so happy, she beamed as she looked at the first prize, a feather bed quilt. As Babushka made her way homeward, a honking flock of geese flew overhead. Babushka gave them a long, lingering look. She wondered if Rechenka was one of them. When Babushka arrived at her home that evening, Rechenka was gone. Alone, she put the new quilt on her little bed. She brewed a cup of tea, ate the last of the kulik and pashka, got into bed with her favorite book of poems, and drifted off to sleep. She hadn't noticed Rechenka's basket. You see something special about Rechenka's basket there? Oh, there's something inside it. Ah. That night, Babushka was awakened from a sound sleep by an ever so small peep. It was coming from Rechenka's basket. She hobbled closer and saw a glorious egg, but this one was different from all the others. It quivered and moved. It made tiny muffled sounds. The egg jumped, bumped, rolled, and pitched in the basket. Then there was a crack, and Babushka could see the very special gift that Rechenka had left for her. "Ah, a miracle," Babushka said, and this little goose remained with Babushka for always. What do you think she named that one? I don't know. This must be fun to name a goose. So for this book, Easter is coming up, and I thought it might be fun for the art project. You could draw the onion domes, or you could draw some eggs. So what I did here, one of my favorite numbers is 9. So I filled out my page with 9 different eggs, and I can decorate these however I want. I can paint them, or use crayons, or use markers, anything I want to do to decorate my eggs. If you wanted, there's also a picture in here of St. Basil's Cathedral, and that might be fun to do as well. These onion domes are kind of shaped with, they have pointy tops. So if you're interested in this kind of architecture, you could Google onion domes or St. Basil's Cathedral, and you could look up what this looks like exactly. It's very beautiful. So lots of ideas for art projects in this book. And now I want to read the last book for today. And this book is called Sun is Falling, Night is Calling. And this is a book that I have read to my children probably 1,000 times. I read this to them every single night before they would go to sleep for years. So this is one of my favorite books. It's very short and it's very comforting. Sun is Falling, Night is Calling by Laura Luke, illustrated by Ora Itan, I believe is the way you pronounce this. This is an old kind of vintage book. And she dedicated this to her children. Day is ending, so is play. Mama says, now toys away. Day is done, the sun is falling. Mama says, the night is calling. Dusk's around us, night is near. Mama says, come snuggle here. Twilight falls as 6 bells chime. Mama says, it's story time. Night is coming, rest is near. Mama says, to bed, my dear. Night is coming, won't be long. Mama sings a gentle song. I love that picture with the bird on the branch. Day is ended, dark already. Mama says, now here's your teddy. Night has come, the moon is peeping. Mama says, it's time for sleeping. Night has come with crickets humming. Mama says, sweet dreams are coming. Night has come with moonlit skies. Mama says, now close your eyes. Night has come with stars above. Mama says, good night, my love. There she is, shutting the door to our little bunny's room. So this is one of my favorite books, and for the art project for this one, maybe you could draw the mama and baby bunny together. You could also draw your bed. So I drew my bed. My bed has a lot of circles on it, and the bedspread. And it has this kind of abstract picture above it. So this is my bed, and I put on there, my bed, hey. And I drew these big kind of lines. I might actually send you a Google video of how to draw a bed, but this is kind of off kilter slightly, but it's kind of fun. So you can actually go in your room and look at your bed and draw it if you want to. It might make you kind of sleepy, and decorate it if you want to. So that is our last book. So what you can do now, if you have made several pictures, you can put all your pictures together, and you can do this over a couple of days, right? You could do one of these each day, or you could do them all at once, however you want to do it. But you could take all these pictures that you did and put them into a book. And you can put your title page on, which is my art book. You could put some extra pages in the back for other books that you hear. And then you can get a paper clip and clip it together. You can get a stapler and staple it, whatever you want to do. You could poke some holes in it and put some string in it and make your own kind of binding. But this is your art book, and you can keep adding pages onto it if you want to. That's one nice thing about using a paper clip, is you can keep adding on pages. So whenever someone reads you a book, you can make an art page and attach it into your art book. And then when we are back together, you can bring your books to class if you want, and we could look at the pictures together. So this might be something really fun you can do over our break. And then when we get back together, you can bring this to class and show us all the fun books that you read over break, including some of these. So this is optional, meaning you can do this if you want to. You don't have to, but it might be something fun that you could do during conference times. All right, thanks guys.